Yan. Hello everyone. Again, magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. So welcome back for another LET review session, and in this session we will continue our set C, no, for professional education. So this is the part 2 of the third set for Prof Ed, and we will have item number 51 to 100 this session. Okay, so please ready your answer sheets if you have your answer sheets with you, your pencils, no, or even your notebooks or notes, no, or wherever you are putting your notes. Okay, and so that you could jot down notes, no, during our discussion. So again, item number 51 to 100 po tayo. We still have our comment section there. Okay, so nakikita ko po yung mga sagot po ninyo sa comment section, your greetings, ayan, nababasa ko po yan. So please make use of our comment section, no, in showing your participation, active participation. So you just could just have the item number and the letter of your choice in the comment section para naman malaman ko po kung ano po yung sagot ng ating mga reviewees. Okay? Sige. So, wag na po nating patagalin, and let us start with question number 51. Okay, sabay-sabay po nating basahin. One of the principles of curriculum is that it is continuously evolving. So the following statement adhere to this principle except. So ang hinahanap natin dito is that pag sinabi natin continuously evolving, diba, it involves changes. Tama? Okay. So saan kaya dyan ang hindi? Kasi except man, hindi nag-a-adhere sa principle ng curriculum na ito. So you could choose A, B, C, or D. Again, except. Take note of the word except. Okay. The correct answer for this one is, ang hinahanap natin dito guys is letter D, kasi hindi man siya kabilang, no? Sabi dyan sa letter D, curriculum includes general subjects that will be progressively taught in all grade levels. Okay? So, sa letter A kasi the curriculum evolved from one period to another, from the past to the present. It talks about changes, diba? For the curriculum to be effective daw, it must have continuous monitoring and evaluation. Kasi nagbabago-bago, so kailangang minomonitor talaga and evaluate natin siya from time to time. Letter C, the curriculum must adapt its activities and service to meet the needs of the dynamic society. Pag sinabing dynamic society, kasi yung society natin nagbabago-bago din. Then, in order to be relevant, kasi diba, education must be relevant, so we must meet the needs of what we so-called the dynamic society. So sa letter D, though maganda po siyang pakinggan, but it doesn't talk about the evolving nature of curriculum. So let's talk about Peter Oliva's actions for curriculum designer. Number 1 na action is curriculum change is inevitable. Hindi na pipigilan, it's necessarily, and it's desirable. Meaning to say, it is dynamic. Kaya nga, na-mention si letter C kanina, dynamic society, and it responds to the changes that occur in schools. Yan yung mga keywords natin. Number 2, curriculum reflects as a product of its time. So, meron tayong tinatawag na keyword natin na timeliness. So, yung curriculum, yung school dapat natin timeless, ibig sabihin, it endures time, it endures space, diba? So, nakikipagsabayan yan sa pagbabago ng panahon. Number 3, curriculum changes made earlier can exist concurrently with the newer curriculum changes. Ang keyword natin dyan, overlaps for long periods of time. Totoo po yun. No? Possible po yun na mayroon pong mga curriculum na minsan nag-o-overlap. No? So, halimbawa na lang, no, yung senior high school, kahit ngayon, no, yung senior high school program natin, merong grade 11 ngayon na nagpa-pilot implementation ng strengthened senior high school program. At the same time, no, nai-implement pa rin yung current na senior high school curriculum natin in the grade 12. So possible po yan. Number 4, curriculum change depends on people who will implement the change. Kasi nga, as curriculum implementers, tayo din, no, we design and own the changes. Number 5, curriculum development is a cooperative group activity. Hindi lang po iisa ang gumagawa ng curriculum. It should involve a broad range of stakeholders. Number 6, curriculum development is a decision-making process made from choices or alternatives. Hindi po yan na, ito lang gusto kong gawing curriculum natin, yun na yun. No. So it should be decided yung content, yung methods, yung evaluation processes. Dapat pinag-iisipan yan at it should be made from alternatives. May options sa pinagpipilian kung saan ba talaga yung pinaka-the best, pinaka-fitting doon sa mga bata. Number 7, curriculum development is an ongoing process. Ibig sabihin ng ongoing process kasi nga evolving, no? So it requires continuing monitoring, continuous monitoring rather, examination, evaluation, and even improvement. Number 8, action, curriculum development is more effective. It is comprehensive rather than piecemeal. So it needs careful planning talaga. Yan yung point ng number 8. Number 9, curriculum development is more effective when it follows a systematic process. Ibig sabihin, merong procedure. Kaya nga sa curriculum development, kung may mga proposals about sa curriculum, meron po talagang matrix na naka-assign po doon. Or nakalagay, sorry. Number 10, curriculum development starts from where the curriculum is. It begins with the existing curriculum. Hindi po totally binabago talaga, Kung ano yung based on evaluation, kung ano yung kakulangan, ano yung mga weaknesses ng current curriculum, doon po nagsisimula yung panibagong curriculum. Halimbawa, yung senior high school. So, still it's a senior high school program curriculum pero strengthened lang siya kasi nga mayroong content, methods or evaluation processes na binago, So yun. So that's number 10. Okay, number 52. Which of the following fields are the foundations of curriculum? Saan dito sa tingin ninyo yung foundations ng curriculum? Is it A, B, C, or D? Sige. Are you familiar with the different foundations of curriculum? Okay. So yung foundations of curriculum natin ay, ayan, meron na sumagot sa comment section. That's correct. It's letter A, We have psychology, history, meron tayong psychological, historical, philosophical, and sociological foundations. So again, these are the foundations of curriculum. Number 1, philosophical. We're talking here about the different philosophies of education. Number 2, the historical foundation. It's the chronological development of a curriculum along a timeline. So, naka-red po yan kasi lumabas na yan po sa board exam, Number 3, psychological foundation. Ito yung mga different theories that explain and understand the teaching learning processes. And number 4 is a sociological foundation where it discusses that or explains that teachers or schools are agents of change. Next, number 53. Psychology is one of the foundations of curriculum. Diba? We have psychological foundation. So which of the following is not part in analyzing curriculum from a psychological point of view? In short, guys, saan dito ang hindi concern ng psychological foundation of education? Is it letter A, B, C, or D? Hindi siya concern ng psychological foundation of education. What do you think? Hindi siya focus ng psychological education. Okay, di ba? Sabi dito kanina that psychological focuses on the theories that explain and understand the teaching learning processes. So, ang hindi kabilang dito ay pag sinabing psychological foundations, we are talking about the teaching, understanding the teaching and learning processes, how curriculum is organized, it's about students' participation, the contents, diba? Yun. So those are the concerns of psychological foundation. So hindi po kabilang dito, guys, ang general theory of education at saka way of thinking, So It's more on the brain-based learning na po yan siya, guys. No? Iba din po yung bang information processing, cognitive na po yun, no? So, child growth and development, psychological yan, di ba? Methods and techniques, kasi we're talking about the teaching processes. Learning process and teaching method yun. Pag sinabing teaching and learning processes, that's psychological foundation. Next, 54. Yung sociology naman, di ba, we have sociological foundation. It's one of the foundations of curriculum. Which of the following is not part in analyzing curriculum from a sociological point of view? Ang point naman ng question nito, saan dito yung hindi concern, hindi isa sa mga foci or focus ng sociological foundation of curriculum? Is it A, B, C, or letter D? So, pili lang po kayo dyan. Hindi siya kabilang sa concern ng sociological foundation. The correct answer here is, okay, tingnan natin, pag sociological foundation, again, ang concern dito, yung teachers, yung school, yung role natin as agents and sources of change. So, ang sagot dito ay letter B, diffusion of knowledge. Very good. Tama yung sagot ninyo. Kasi yung country's aims in education, it's sociological kasi we are talking about country eh. The needs, no? The goals of our country in terms of education, that's sociological. Society yan. Achievement and future plans, part po yan, no? Sa sociological. Transmission of social heritage. So yung diffusion of knowledge is more on pedagogical po kasi, no, yung diffusion of knowledge. So paano ba natin dinidifuse? Paano ba natin tinuturo yung paano ba natin tinatransmit yung knowledge, 'di ba? So it's more about teaching. So letter B is the correct answer. Number 5. The following questions relate with the first fundamental principle of Ralph Tyler, except, okay? So saan dyan ang hindi natin pwede, hindi siya isa sa mga core questions or tinatanong natin when we are talking about the first principle of Ralph Tyler. Okay? We're talking here about the curriculum. Saan dyan? A, B, C, or D? Dapat alam natin, no, yung mga pinagkakaiba ng mga different curriculum models, no? Kasi sa iba't ibang models, iba-iba yung mga principle nila. Halimbawa si Ralph Tyler, dapat alam natin saan nakafocus si Ralph Tyler. Okay, sige, sagot. 'Di ba si Ralph Tyler nakafocus siya sa planning? 'Di ba? Sa planning phase yung emphasis niya. So hindi natin tinatanong dito ay tingnan natin. Oh, ito yung Ralph Tyler model. So again, it also known as Tyler's rationale. Okay? So ang emphasis dito ay planning phase, no? So ano yung steps niya for curriculum development? Number 1, purpose of the school. Number 2, educational experiences. Number 3, organization of the experiences. And number 4, evaluation of experiences. So dapat alam natin ano yung purpose ng pagpapatayo ng school. Ano yung magiging teaching and learning activities na mabibigay natin sa mga bata. Paano natin ma-organize yung mga activities na to from first to fourth quarter? And paano natin ma-evaluate if successful, effective yung minibigay nating mga learning experiences. So it's more on planning. It starts with the purpose of the school. So going back to the question, ang sagot natin ay letter A. How do you want your students to learn? Kasi pag sinabing how, it's about the process. No? So we are now talking here on the second and third, no? Yung learning experiences. What are the learning experiences para matuto yung mga bata? Yun na yung concern ng how. But what the students need to be successful? Ano yung objectives? Ano yung philosophy? No, based on the purpose of the school, yan, pang first principle po yan o pang first part po yan ng kanyang curriculum model. So sa letter A, so kung babalikan natin siya, kumbaga sa letter A, it's not about the purpose. No, it's about experiences. So hindi siya first, no? Hindi siya first sa principle ni Tyler. Next, the following describe Tyler's rationale of curriculum development except, sana hindi nyo nakita. Okay. So again, so saan dyan ang nagda-describe? Hindi siya nagda-describe, no? Kasi di ba napag-usapan natin si Tyler, yung kanyang curriculum model. Saan dyan ang hindi nagpapakita o nagda-describe no, sa kanyang curriculum model? Is it A, B, C, or D? Okay, so very obvious, no? Ang sagot ay letter B, reflects the teacher's approach. Alam naman natin, no, na hindi binibigyan masyado ng emphasis ni Ralph Tyler yung active participation ng mga teacher, no? It's deductive, correct? Bakit deductive? Kasi nag-start si Ralph Tyler from general to specific. Nag-start siya sa purpose of the school. Ano ba yung kabuuang gusto nating mangyari? Letter C, believe that administration should design curriculum. Oh, it's sila kung sino yung mga policy makers, sino yung mga curriculum developer, yung mga nasa admin, sila yung nagpa-plan usually. Hindi masyado labas sa picture ni Ralph Tyler yung mga teacher, guys. So, saan ba makikita yung active participation ng mga teacher? Dito kay Hilda Taba. So, are you familiar with Hilda Taba, right? Known siya sa kanyang grassroots approach to curriculum development. Bakit grassroots approach? Kasi ina-acknowledge niya yung participation ng mga teachers in the curriculum development. Kasi yung mga teachers kasi yung nakakaalam kung ano yung tunay na pangangailangan ng mga bata. No? Nagsimula talaga siya doon sa grassroots. No? Kaya it's grassroots approach to curriculum development. Okay? Next, number 57. Which of these statements below is not a principle of humanistic education? Hanapin nyo dyan, hindi principle ng humanistic education. Is it letter A, B, C, or D? Again, highlight natin yung not. Okay? Not a principle of humanistic education. The correct answer here is letter B. That's correct. No? Ayan, may nakita ko letter B sa comment section. So, schools should produce students who are knowledgeable and are masters of their chosen fields. Though, no, kung praktikalan lang talaga yung pag-uusapan, no, maganda si letter B. But this is not the focus of humanistic education. Pag sinabing humanistic education, hindi lang to nakafocus sa knowledge. It's not all about mastery of a specific field of study. Okay? Bakit? Pag sinabi natin humanistic education, it's one of the types of learner-centered design curriculum. Learner-centered. Ibig sabihin, hindi, kasi meron din tayong subject-centered. Si humanistic design is not subject-centered. It's not about the specific field of study. Pag sinabing humanistic education, no, so it is popularized by Abraham Maslow and Carl Roger. So it's more about self-actualization. It's development of self, integration of thinking, feeling, and doing, development of self-concept, and it considers the three domains of learning: cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. So it's a whole child approach to education. It's not only mastery of the subject matter. It's not only mastery in a specific chosen field. No. Pag humanistic design, it's a whole child approach to education. Next, 58. With the topic on the basic footsteps in social dance, the PE teacher decided to conduct a mini classroom dancing competition. Students were asked to create an original dance routine. So this type of curriculum is implemented in the classroom is known as blank. So meron tayong different types of curriculum. Kabilang dyan sa letter A, letter B, C, and letter D. Nag-conduct ng mini classroom dance competition. The students were asked to create an original dance routine. So, what type of curriculum yung ini-implement? Okay? Implement. The type of curriculum implemented in the classroom. The correct answer here is letter C. Taught curriculum, 'di ba? Ibig sabihin, no, yung topic na basic footsteps which is in the recommended curriculum, no, ay tinuro ng teacher, no, through conducting a mini dance competition. Okay? So taught curriculum, the teacher and the learners will put life to the written curriculum, guys, no? So binibigyan natin ng buhay, no, kung ano yung nasa written or recommended curriculum. At paano ba natin mabibigyan ng buhay yan? Syempre sa pagtuturo, no, sa active participation ng mga bata. Hindi naman sinabi dito na in-evaluate. 'Di ba? Hindi naman sinabi diyan na nagkaroon ng assessment, 'di ba? Ang sabi lang diyan that PE teacher decided to conduct a mini classroom dance competition, and that is her way to implement or teach basic footsteps in a social dance. So pag sinabing taught curriculum, kino-consider natin dito yung skills of the teacher. 'Di ba? The instructional materials dito ang instructional material, instructional method siguro kasi it's through dance competition, and even the facilities are necessary. Next, number 59, project method. Okay, wag natin kalimutan, pag project method, it was introduced by William Kilpatrick, who believes that the purpose of the curriculum is child development and growth, who are in the position to plan and develop child learning activities in the class. Yun lang yung point ni Carl Patrick. Sino ba ang nasa position to plan and develop child learning activities in class? Kayo ba? Sino ba dapat ang nasa position para mag-plan, para mag-develop ng mga activities natin sa klase? Kabilang ba dyan si parents? No. Diba? Hindi pwede. What if yung parent ay full-time nagtatrabaho, sila para pagpaplanuhin natin? No. Principal, no. Kasi sa principal, by nature, admin yung trabaho nila. Diba? Students, yes. In any decision making talaga sa classroom, guys, we need to consider the students, involve them as much as possible. Stakeholders, though hindi lahat ng stakeholders, diba? So we cannot answer stakeholders. Teachers, of course, kasi tayo yung mag-i-implement ng plan, then dapat tayo mismo din yung nag-plan. So ang sagot natin dito, guys, ay letter B, 3 and 5 only, letter B. So yan, pag under historical foundation, diba? Napag-usapan dito dapat about children, 'di ba? Nagde-determine ng input sa curriculum. 'Yan. So tapos aside dito is yung teacher. Sabi pa dito, teacher should guide rather than dispense knowledge. So kapag pinag-usapan yung project method ni Kilpatrick, it's about the students, children, and the teacher. Curriculum was developed jointly, sabi dyan, jointly with the students. So it's not only the teacher but also with the students. Next, which is not part of the grassroots approach of Hilda Taba. Napag-usapan natin, yung si Hilda Taba, siya yung nagpasikat ng grassroots approach to education. Bakit nga ba grassroots? Kasi nga nire-recognize niya yung ini-emphasize yung active participation or active role ng teacher sa curriculum development. Now, kung si Ralph Tyler ay may 4 na steps, si Hilda Taba naman na curriculum model ay meron din siyang steps. So saan ang hindi kabilang sa steps na ito sa kanyang grassroots approach? A, B, C, or D. The correct answer, tingnan natin. Pag sinabing Hilda Taba model, kasi grassroots nga, nagsisimula siya doon sa pag-diagnose sa pangangailangan ng mga bata. Kaya grassroots, doon talaga siya nagsimula. Ano ba talaga yung needs ng mga learners? Second, nagkakaroon ng based sa needs ng mga bata, pino-formulate, okay, ito yung magiging learning objectives ng ating curriculum based sa needs ng mga bata. Then, based naman sa objectives natin, then ito po dapat yung mga learning content. So, pipili ka na ngayon kung ano yung ituturo sa mga bata to achieve the objectives. Ngayon, i-organize yung learning contents. Hindi naman pwede na sabay-sabay ituro lahat. So, saan sa mga learning content ang ay mauunang ituro, saan naman yung medyo nasa later part. And then, after ma-organize yung content, of course, paano? Dito papasok yung question, how? Paano natin ituturo? Then, of course, dyan papasok yung pagsaselect ng learning experiences. And after the selection, still, i-organize mo din. You will organize the learning experiences. And lastly, yung kagaya ng Ralph Tyler, and-evaluate. So, evaluate yung implementation ng curriculum. So these are the steps. So titingnan natin, hindi kabilang or hindi na-mention si letter D about selection of technology tools. Okay? So wala pong technology tools na napag-uusapan dyan. Though embedded siya doon sa learning experiences. Next, number 61, the content of each subject in basic education are contained in this document. Saan ba natin makikita yung content, okay, ng bawat subject in the basic education? Is it letter A, B, C, or D? Okay, saan makikita yung content of each subject in the basic education? When we are talking about curriculum, pag teacher ka talaga, lalo na kapag nagtuturo ka sa DepEd, ito dapat yung pinaka-biblia ng kung ano yung ituturo mo. The correct answer here is, of course, the CG, no? Or the curriculum guide, no? K-12 curriculum guide. So kapag merong monitoring, hahanapan ka talaga, no, ng mga supervisor ninyo ng curriculum guide. For example, if you're teaching math, hanapan ka ng CG mo ng math. Baka kasi yung tinuturo mo sa klase, yung na-observe nila ay hindi pala, no, nakalagay doon sa curriculum guide. So nandun yung content ng bawat subject, no? So, hindi lang content, actually, yung goals, yung objectives, yung philosophy, no? Nandun, mga different activities, suggested learning resources, and even assessment, nandun po sa curriculum guide. Next, number 62. In grades 1 to 12 assessment in the new K-12 curriculum, which of the following is not correct in terms of the written works component? Okay? So, dapat memorize. Yan, memorize talaga, sir. Yes. So, dapat memorize po natin ang weight distribution ng bawat component. Diba? Meron tayong tatlong component. We have written works, we have performance task, at saka meron tayong quarterly assessment. No? So, iba-iba po ang weight ng component na yan, depende sa subject. Okay? So, we need to memorize. Okay? Memorize natin. So, halimbawa, ito, sanang hindi tama dito. No? Ang sagot ay, tingnan natin, no? Ito yung components, written work, performances. This is for grade 1 to 10. Kapag languages po, English, Filipino, AP, ESP, that's 30, 50, 20. Okay? Pag SciMath naman, Science and Math, that's 40, 40, 20. Kapag MAPE, EPP, TLE, 20, 60, 20. Iba yung case sa senior high school. Sa senior high school, kapag core subject siya, so we have 25, 50, 25, no? Kapag ang student ay under academic track, no? Lahat ng subjects niya maliban sa core subject ay 25, 45, 30. Yung work immersion research niya 35, 40, 25. Memorize niyo yan. Kapag naman under TVL, sports, arts and design track, the rest of the subjects maliban sa core subjects ay at saka work immersion, pareho lahat. Basta TVL, walang problema sa TVL, no? 20, 60, 20. Para siyang EPP, TLE sa grades 1 to 10. So kung yan ang pagbabasihan natin, ang mali po dyan ay letter D, senior high school research or work immersion ay 40%. Okay? So yung language tama, 30% yung written works, MAPE, TLE, 20%, senior high school core subject 25, 'di ba? Tama, 25, 50, 25. So ang mali po diyan ay letter D. Next, in K-12 assessment, which is true about kindergarten grading of learners. No? Saan ba dito yung grading process or grading system ng kindergarten? Is it letter A, B, C, or D? Unang tanong, meron bang numerical grade ang kindergarten? If wala, ano ba yung ginagamit niya? Is it letter ba? A, B, C, A+, B+, A negative? Ganun ba ang ginagamit? No? So, paano ba dinigrade ang mga kindergarten students? The correct answer here is letter A. Learners are not graded numerically. Again ha, sa kindergarten po, non-numerical grade po sila. But they do utilize checklist. Okay, may checklist po yan. So according to DepEd Order number 8, series of 2015, so sabi po dyan, no, for kindergarten, checklist and anecdotal records are used instead of numerical grades. So clear pa yan po sa crystal clear. Okay? So that's the correct answer, guys. That's explanation kung bakit letter A ang sagot. Next, number 64. This is a level under psychomotor domain by Simpson, which shows ability of the learner to use, take note, sensory cues to guide motor or physical activity. Gumagamit ng sensory cues. Okay? So, dapat memorize din natin hindi lang yung cognitive domain, ha? Yung taxonomy of objectives sa cognitive, dapat pati affective and psychomotor domain ay memorize po natin. So dito may binigay na reference according dito Simpson. Simpson psychomotor domain. So use sensory cues to guide motor physical activity. Ang sagot ay letter D, perception. Okay, the correct answer, letter D, perception. So, yan po, ito po ang taxonomy ni Simpson. Nagsisimula po yung pinaka-lowest po si perception. Okay? Yung gumagamit lang po tayo ng senses or senses, no, that cues or senses cues that guide motor activity. Okay? And it progresses, nagiging set, guided response, mechanism, complete overt response, adaptation, and organization. So you could take screenshot of this one kasi ang nakalagay po dyan ay mga keywords na lang po. Ayan, keywords. Okay? So kapag gumagamit ng senses cues that guide motor activity, perception ang isasagot natin. Next, 65. The following are overt or explicit types of curriculum exempt. Pag sinabi nating overt or explicit, no, overt open, no, explicit siya. Ibig sabihin, stated talaga siya, directly talaga siya, no, nakasulat talaga siya, 'di ba? No? So saan diyan ang hindi overt? Hindi explicit. Tinatawag din itong implied or implicit curriculum. Kasi hindi siya talaga nakasulat, hindi talaga siya nakasaad, no? But as teachers, we need to be aware of this because it could affect the quality of learning. And yan ay letter A, hidden curriculum. So the correct answer is letter A, hidden curriculum. Number 66. Si teacher, the curriculum reviewers daw ng elementary araling panlipunan subject in school A believes in the concept that learners can be masters of something if they devote sufficient time and effort to do it. Therefore, they assure that some competencies in AP are vertically repeated in all elementary grade levels. The dimension of curriculum design that is highlighted is on blank, A, B, C, or D. No? We are talking about vertical repetition. Pag repetition, vertical, kasi meron tayong vertical, horizontal repetition. Ibig sabihin nito na yung content sa, for example, AP grade 4, no? Tinuturo din siya sa AP grade 5, AP grade 6, pero progressively taught siya, spirally progressive, no? So yan, we are talking about continuity. Okay? It doesn't mean ang topic na to pang grade 4, we will stop in grade 4, another for grade 5, no. So the same concept, if we are talking about government in grade 4, we are still talking about government in grade 5, grade 6, grade 7, and so on and so forth. That's vertical repetition. So part po yan ng basic principles of curriculum content. Hindi siya basic kasi simple. Basic is an acronym. B stands for balance. A for articulation. No? So curriculum is arranged vertically or horizontally. It's also about, wala man tayong articulation dito. Okay? So the best answer po talaga dito is articulation. Okay? Pero wala tayong articulation. No, ito yung sinasabi ko na alignment, vertical alignment, no? At saka meron tayong horizontal alignment. Pag horizontal alignment, across subjects, no? Arranging the learning outcomes across subjects per grade level. Horizontal. So dito tayo sa continuity. Pag sinabing continuity, mayroong vertical repetition and recurring approaches of content. Okay? So paulit-ulit with increasing level of complexity for continuity purposes. So that's what you mean by basic, no? Balance, articulation, S for scope, I for integration, C for continuity. Next, the English teacher taught the literary competencies in an interconnected way. She chose a text in relation to the theme of the month and discussed values and skills which are related to real-life concerns. This dimension of curriculum design being focused here is on A, B, C, or D. Take note, yung competencies daw, no, are taught in an interconnected way. So they, or the teacher, no, the teacher does not, no, approach each competency in isolation. Okay, so merong tinatawag na letter C. Very good. That's integration. Meron tayong tinatawag na integration. Balikan natin si basic principle. Si I for integration. Sabi dyan, curriculum is integrated and interconnected. Hindi ko siya hinighlight kanina kasi alam ko itatanong siya sa next question. So curriculum is integrated. It integrates other subjects. It integrates related discipline, or even it is integrated even values and skills, no? And it's interconnected. That's integration. Next, 68. Which criterion for the selection of subject matter or content refers to the learner's schema and experiences as important factors to the curriculum? This further means that the content should be identified within the capacity of the students to absorb the subject matter. Anong criterion yan sa pagpili ng subject matter or content? Na dapat yung content daw ay should be within the capacity of the students. So saan dyan? The correct answer here is letter B, learnability. Okay? So dapat yung content ay kaya lang sa capacity ng mga bata na matutunan. It's learnability within the capacity of the students. So these are the criteria in selecting content. Number 1, significance. No? Mahalaga ba talaga ang content na to para sa mga bata? Would it contribute to the ideas, concepts, no, para ma-attain yung overall purpose ng curriculum? Valid ba siya? Ibig sabihin, kung ano yung content ba is aligned doon sa purpose, aligned doon sa ating learning objectives. Totoo ba? Authentic ba? Free from errors ba ang mga content na to? Utility, no? Nagagamit ba ng mga students na to yung content na to? Is it applicable? Is it useful for the students, no, relative to their time, no, or relative to their needs? Next, learnability. Pag sinabi learnability, take note, the learning content ba is within lang sa range ng learner's experiences. Baka di niya kayang ma-absorb. Halimbawa, you're teaching grade 3 science and then you are talking about the reproductive organs, diba? How reproduction takes place, ganun. So, hindi pa yan kaya ma-absorb ng mga bata kasi it's outside pa sa kanilang experiences. But if you're talking about butterflies, diba? About insects, yun. Kayang-kaya pa yan ng grade 3 students. Feasibility, ibig sabihin na yung content ba ay kaya ba siyang ituro within, no, the allotted time, given with the available resources, kaya ba siyang ituro based sa expertise ng teacher and the nature of the learners. And then interest, yung content ba ito ay meaningful para sa mga students, no? Nagda-drive ba ito ng kanilang eagerness to learn? Self-sufficient ba siya? Ibig sabihin yung content ba ito is nako-cover ba niya yung essential ng whole lesson talaga? Hindi mile wide, inch deep. Pag sabi yung mile wide, inch deep, yun bang ang daming pinag-aaralan pero yung knowledge ng bata is napakababaw lang, no? Yun. So, dapat hindi siya mile wide, inch deep, no? Dapat kahit konti lang siya, pero napakalalim ng pagkakaintindi ng mga bata. Next, number 69, the following are progressive points of view of curriculum exam. So, dalawa kasi yan ng points of view ng curriculum, no? So, we have traditional and saka progressive, no? Pag sasabihin natin na, what is curriculum? Syempre, pag traditional yung tatanungin mo, the traditional answer, curriculum, ito yung mga subjects, diba? Ito yung mga subjects natin na kinukuha natin, pinag-aaralan natin. That's traditional. Pero pag sasabihin mo, what is curriculum? Nasasagot ang program. Pag sinabing curriculum, these are the contents, these are the learning experiences. It involves everything, no, na matutunan ng mga bata. Everything that they experience in school are considered curriculum. Ganon. So that's progressive, no? So talking about that, no? So ang sagot dito kasi exact man. So hinahanap natin dito yung traditional. So yung traditional ay si letter C. Pag sinabing curriculum para sa mga traditional, no, na mga developers, they will answer, curriculum is just a written document. It's a plan of action, di ba? Yan ay sabi ni Pratt. 1980 pa to, guys, no? Pag sinabing curriculum, according to Pratt, it's a written document, no? Unlike dito sa letter A, total experience, all experiences, di ba? Hindi lang nakalimit doon sa plan. Hindi lang doon nakalimit sa documents yung curriculum. It's about experiences. Di ba? Progressive yun. Next, 70. Mr. Peralta, the assistant principal, reminded the teachers in the beginning of the year that they have to look at their syllabus and compare it with how they implemented the recent year. Ayun, maganda. Then they have to improve the existing curriculum for the upcoming school year based on the insights they gained. Ayan. Please remember that teaching and learning is a continuous process. Sabi niya, he believes in the principle that curriculum development is, ayan, letter A, B, C, or D. Ang ganda, di ba, ng ginawa ng assistant principal. So, tama to yung ginawa niya, guys. This is according to the principle of curriculum development na ang principle na yun ay curriculum development is never ending. It's dynamic. It's evolving. It is changing. No? Yan yung curriculum development. Dynamic, never ending, evolving, changing. No? Next, number 71. Mike, a grade 12 student, is writing the final report of his research paper. Upon drawing the conclusion which supports the validity and truthfulness of his conclusion. Ano ba yung magiging support mo doon sa iyong conclusion when you are writing your research paper? When you draw your conclusion, di ba dapat yung conclusion natin ay anchored saan? Is it anchored sa assumptions? Is it anchored on factual evidence, hypothesis, or implications? Siyempre, yung ating conclusion dapat based doon sa nag-gather nating data, no? Doon tayo sa factual evidence. Ano ba yung sinasabi ng evidences? Ano ba yung sinasabi ng data na to ngayon? So that will serve as your conclusion. No? So evidence supports the conclusion. Yung hypothesis, this is the educated guess. This is just the same when we say assumptions, di ba? Pag sinabi namang implications, this is an inference from the findings. So ano ngayon yung mangyayari, no, based on this data, based on your conclusion that you concluded that ganito ganyan. Now what would be the implication of this one, no? Doon sa, for example, sa teaching learning process. So that's implication. Next, Principal Santos wanted to find out the effectiveness of science instruction in the current school year across the different grade levels, no, in grade 3, 4, 5, and 6. So anong type of research design will be most suitable based on her research objective? Gusto niya malaman yung effectiveness ng science instruction, no? Within lang siya, ha. This is, ibig sabihin, pareho yung time, yung year, ngayon na school year, pero iba-iba yung edad, iba-iba yung grade level, no? From grade 3, grade 4, grade 5, grade 6. So anong type of research ang pwede nating gamitin? The correct answer here is letter B, cross-sectional. Okay, letter B, cross-sectional. Ibig sabihin, the same time, ngayong school year na to, pero iba't iba yung participants natin in terms of levels or age, no? Kaya nga cross-sectional, no? So ang cross-sectional, again, one point in time, different yung ating samples, different yung respondents or participants. Ang longitudinal, no, na study or research, several points in time, no, pero the same sample or respondent. So ito yung ginagamit usually sa developmental studies. For example, yung cognitive development. So the same na set ng mga bata yung pinag-aaralan nila. Paano natututo yung ang set ng batang na to when they were in infancy, no, early childhood, elementary. So nagva-vary yung time pero the same lang po sila ng kanilang respondents. Next, the following are educational implications. So we're talking about implications, no, of Erikson's psychosocial theory of development, EXAP. Okay? Take note of the word EXAP. So lahat daw ng ito ay implication ng psychosocial theory of development maliban sa isa. So hanapin nyo dyan ang hindi kabilang. Okay, the correct answer, meron akong nakikitang sagot and that is correct. It's letter C, no? Making teachers competent to cure. To cure talaga? Psychosocial malignancy? Grabe naman yan. Hindi naman tayo siguro psychologist, psychiatrist, or whatsoever related sa psychology, di ba? So, meron talaga tayong mga licensed psychologists, guys. So, teachers, yung psychological development, guys, kumbaga, guide na lang po sa atin yun. Okay? So, guide sa pag-facilitate, no? Guide sa atin when we guide naman yung mga learners, di ba? It's a light for us, no? It makes our journey as a teacher, no? Maging enlightened tayo. Ganun. Pero hindi tayo na-cure ng malignancy. 74. Of the following statements which implies optimism in a child's early age based on Erikson's psychosocial theory. Okay? Optimism. Pag sinabing optimism, no, yung stage na to, pag sinabing ang optimism is under kasi siya ng trust versus mistrust. Okay? Pag sinabing optimism, it's more on the positive, no? Positive side, no? Pero on the level pa rin na trust versus mistrust. Ang sagot for number 74 ay letter A. I can rely on my caregivers. Diba? It suggests trust, being hopeful na kahit pag gano'n ka negative yung mundo, meron kang caregiver, meron kang mother, meron kang father na very caring so you as a baby ka pa noon, no, that you can really rely on, no? So I like my parents, medyo malayo, like lang, hindi naman siguro lahat ng like is worthy of trust natin, di ba? I meet an uncertain world. This is mistrust. Okay? I fish out of the water. This is isolation. Okay? So, hindi siya pang trust versus mistrust. Okay. So, ito, trust, it's more on the positive aspect. Number 75, when a learner would ask, I wonder what sort of person I really am. Wow. He is said to be in the stage according to Erikson. I wonder what sort of person I really am. No? So obviously, hindi pa to siya pang elementary. Hindi pa siya pang early childhood, 'di ba? Autonomy versus shame and doubt pang childhood to eh. 'Di ba? Initiative versus guilt, early childhood 'yan. Industry versus inferiority, elementary years po ito. So probably, ang sagot natin, letter B, identity versus role confusion. No? So hindi pa siya ganun ka-sure, no? May confusion pa rin sa kanya. Next, 76. Erikson's epigenetic principle states that we develop in a series of unfolding of personalities. Correct. Ibig sabihin nito, hindi ibig sabihin na pagpanganak natin, pagmulat ng ating kamalayan, ay alam na talaga natin kung yung sarili natin. Minsan pa nga, meron tayong mga attitudes, di ba? May mga bagay na hindi pa natin alam, no, tungkol sa ating sarili. No, dahan-dahan naman yan, one at a time. So this is applicable to young learners, best described by experts like, kumbaga, nagkaroon ng metaphor, no? Or analogy, no? Na yung pag-unfold ng personalities ng tao ay kagaya ng pag-unfold ng petals ng isang rosebud. Okay? Ang pangit kasi daw ng rose kapag pinipilit natin, no, na binubuka yung kanyang mga petals. No, hayaan daw natin to see the beauty in it. Okay? So that's the epigenetic principle. Sabi ng mga researchers, sabi niya, sabi dito, yung example nila, a little like the unfolding of a rose bud. So ganyan po dinescribe no, yung epigenetic principle. Next, 77, Vygotsky is known to oppose strongly the passive type of learning. Di ba? Kasi psychosocial, di ba pag psychosocial, it's more on social interaction. So, ayaw talaga ng passive type of learning Vygotsky. So, what type of activities does Vygotsky prescribe? Ano yung piniprescribe niya ngayon to help children and special needs students learn best? Kasi ayaw niya ng passive, so gusto niya active learning. So, hanapin niyo dyan yung active learning. So, very obvious. Yeah, actually, tama yung sagot niyo, guys. For number 77, it's letter A, hands-on. No? The more you interact, the more you do it with other people, di ba? So, the more that you are learning hands-on. No? So, sabi dyan, so Vygotsky believed in the essential role of activities in learning. Sabi niya, children learn best through hands-on activities than, ayaw niya ng listening passively. Next, 78. When Elsie behaves well, so she could get 5 tokens from her kindergarten teacher. What level of moral development does Elsie belong to based on Kohlberg's theory? Diba? Wow, nag-behave lang siya kasi meron siyang anticipation of rewards, no? Kumbaga yung intention niya, hindi siya, ay magbe-behave ako para meron ako matutunan kay teacher. Ay magbe-behave ako para hindi ako maging distracted sa learning ko. Hindi ganoon eh. Nag-behave siya para meron siyang reward. Diba? Yun yung motivation. That's the reason. Pag sinabi kasing Kohlberg's theory, we are talking about the moral reason behind the action. Okay? So kapag ganyan ang thinking natin, we are just doing good things because we are expecting something in return, then nasa level 1 ka pa lang. No? Nasa stage 1 ka pa lang. Pre-conventional for mutual benefit. Again, that's level 1, pre-conventional, and that is stage 2, no? Mutual benefit. Ibig sabihin, you are doing it, you are acting it out by expecting a certain benefit or reward that you may obtain later. Kagaya na nga dong reward niya. Next, which of the following gross motor skills can birth exhibit being a 7-month-old? So, anong gross motor? Pag sinabi kasi nating gross motor skills, this is the use of large muscles, no? So, saan dito yung gross motor skills na kaya nang gawin ng mga 7-months-old na baby? Letter A, B, C, or D? The correct answer here is, kaya nang gawin ng 7 months. Kaya nang gawin yung, letter D. So yung 7 months old, kaya niya na mag-sit alone using the hand for support. Kasi pag mag-sit ka, it involves itong na part sa may puwetan mo, di ba, balakang. So it's large muscles na yung ginagamit, di ba? So yan po, pag 7 to 12 months old, kaya na sits alone steadily without support. Okay? And yan po, the rest po yan, kayang gawin ng baby 7 to 12 months old. Next, number 80. A child may complain that there is a little ice cream left in a big bowl, but will be satisfied if the ice cream is transferred to a little bowl, even though nothing is added. Piaget termed this children's tendency to focus on only one aspect of a situation. So, anong feature yan, no, sa cognitive development theory? Nagpo-focus only on one aspect. Is it letter A, letter B, letter C, or letter D? Nakakatuwa yung ganitong bata, di ba? Kapag malaki, Diba? Wow, ang konti lang ng ice cream. Pero kapag yung container ay maliit lang siya, so medyo parang puno yung dating yung ice cream, okay lang sa kanya, diba? The correct answer here is letter B, centration. Okay? So nakafocus lang po kasi siya sa one aspect. Sir, ano po yung conservation? Yung conservation, hindi na nabubudol yung bata. Alam ng bata na ay wala namang nabago dito kahit pa nag-change ng container, yun pa rin yun. That's conservation. It's an ability. Pero yung centration, nabubudol pa yung bata, 'di ba? So lalo na kapag mga container yung pinag-uusapan. Next, number 81. After Karen explored all of her alternatives, so na-explore siya, meron siyang opportunity to explore, she decided and committed herself to volunteer in programs with noble cause and charitable projects and activities. So, anong identity status ngayon ni Karen? Nag-explore siya. Tapos, nag-commit siya. So, ano yung identity status niya? Based on Martha's identity statuses. The correct answer, letter A. It's identity achievement, 'di ba? Nag-explore siya, tapos nag-commit siya. That's identity achievement. So, actually, maraming explanation diyan, no? Pero gamitin na lang natin yung table na ito, no? Meron ang tanong dalawa lang. Naka-experience ba siya? 'Di ba? Nagkapag-explore ba siya? Kumbaga may options ba siya? Nalaman niya ba 'yun? 'Di ba? Tapos yung second question, nag-commit ba siya? 'Di ba? Nag-go ba siya? Okay, yes or no lang. Kapag example si Martha, na-experience niya, na-explore yung alternatives, at the same time it's a yes, nag-commit siya, then that's identity achievement. Pero kapag no exploration, kumbaga wala siyang choice for nag-commit siya, foreclosure yun. Identity foreclosure. Identity moratorium, na-explore niya, na-experience niya, pero wait, parang hindi pa ako makadecide. That's identity moratorium. Like, I want to take a break. Parang hindi pa ako handa. Ayan, di ba? Next is identity diffusion. No? No opportunity or hindi siya nag-explore, hindi din siya nag-commit. No, parang hindi natin alam kung ano yung gusto niya mangyari sa buhay niya. Okay? So that's identity diffusion. Okay? Next, number 82. Which of the following is considered as a developmentally appropriate practice for preschool learners? Saan dyan? Developmentally appropriate tapos preschool. Okay? So letter A, B, C, or D. Saan kaya dyan ang pwede for a preschool learner? Okay, answer here is letter C, no? Use colorful, attractive, and challenging materials, no? So, nandyan yung mga keywords natin, colorful, kasi preschool, attractive, at the same time, challenging. What naman yung medyo madali lang talaga, or medyo or mahirap din sa bat? Challenging, okay? Next, 83. Teacher Sofa gives her class some puzzle games to solve. She let her students work in groups, no, to make sure her students learn new schema more efficiently. So this situation shows blank. Let her students to work in groups. So ano yan? Is it letter A, B, C, or D? Anong theory ang naa-apply dito sa ginawa ni Teacher Sofa? The correct answer here is, okay, kasi nga working in groups, it's social constructivism. Tapos inalaw niya, hinayaan niya lang, di ba, to solve pa. Paano kaya to ma-solve to, di ba? So, di ba, building, no, or making their own or building their own knowledge, di ba? Trying to solve something on their own, but they are doing it as a group. That's social constructivism. And that's by Lev Vygotsky. Okay? So, yung kay Albert Bandura, ang focus ito, pag sinabing observation, modeling, imitation, pag mabasa niyo yan guys, Albert Bandura-matic yan. Kay John Piaget rather, cognitive constructivism, it's individual constructivism. And Bronfenbrenner naman, it's more on relationship system. Okay? Ano yung effect ng relationship ng child at saka ng parent niya? Ano yung effect sa bata ng relationship niya with his or her neighbors? No? Parang ganon. Next, ayan. Si Piaget, more on individual. Okay, ang focus. Si Vygotsky naman, social constructivism, more on social in focus. Yan yung pinagkaiba ng kanilang constructivism. Next, 84. A child typically finds himself simultaneously enriched in different ecosystems. Ayan, mga systems na. From the most intimate home ecological system, moving outward to larger school system and the most expensive system, which is society and culture. Each of these systems inevitably interacts with and influences each other in every aspect of the child's life. This concept of development was explained by, sino na-explain ito? Letter A, B, C, or D. Diba? Ang point lang ng question is that meron daw mga system na nakapalibot sa bata. No? At yung bata doon nag-i-interact no, sa system na to mula doon sa bahay nila, papunta sa school, papunta doon sa society and even culture. So this is yung dinescribe na theory dito guys ay kay Yuri Bronfenbrenner's bioecological systems theory. Okay? Kay Yuri Bronfenbrenner po yan. David Ausubel, advanced organizer. Robert Gagne, instructional events. Lawrence Kohlberg, moral development. Next, according, ayan, talking about Bronfenbrenner, this term refers to the bigger social system which involves mass media that influences the child of influences the life of a child. So ano yung part ng bigger social system doon sa bioecological system theory niya that includes the mass media. Siyempre pag mass media malayo na to sa bata eh, 'di ba? Even outside sa school, 'di ba? So pero mass media can still affect the life of the child. So, ang mass media ay under bigger man siya, bigger social system. It's part of the exosystem. Kasi labas na to eh. Diba? Yung bata kasi nagpa-function usually nasa bahay, kapitbahay, kalaro, paaralan, teacher, diba? Fellow students. Yun yung usually may kumbaga malaki yung effect sa kabata. Pero outside na sa school, like mass media, exo na yun. Diba? Exosystem. So the exosystem refers to the bigger social system in which the child does not function directly. This includes the city government, the workplace of the mother, for example, and the mass media. Ayan, mass media. Next, based on Piaget's theory of moral development, at what age do children accept that all rules are made by some authority figures, examples, parents, teacher, God, and they should never ever break these rules? So, kumbaga, sa edad na to, naniniwala talaga na ang bata na kapag rule is rule, somebody is making a rule. No, halimbawa, rule ni teacher. And dapat, pag rule ni teacher, hindi dapat yan sinusuway. Di ba? Naranasan natin yan. Ngayon, matatanda na tayo siya, pwede pala. We can bend rules pala. Di ba? Pero noon, dumaan tayo sa edad kung saan hindi natin alam na pwede pala mag-compromise, na pwede pala mag-bend ng rules. At yung age na to, tinatawag ito na guys, na subordinate justice or pre-moral. Kasi di pa naman natin alam, no? Subordinate justice yan. At ang edad na yan ay between ages 5 up to 7 or 8. Okay? 5 to 7 or 8 guys, masunurin pa talaga tayo guys, no? So ayan po. So one period, ayan po, no? Ang sense of justice, pag 5 hanggang 7 to 8, justice is subordinated to adult authority. Ayun. Kapag naman 8 to 11, progressive equalitarianism ang tawag, no? And kapag 11 to 12, no, pataas, that's purely equalitarian justice. Okay? Next, 87. According to Erik Erikson, the psychological stages of human development start from blank to blank. Okay? Ito guys, there is a similar question na lumabas sa actual board exam. No? Pero dapat nating tingnan kasi yung iba kasi padalos-dalos, iba-iba kasi yung sagot guys, no. Depende sa kung ano yung tinatanong sa question. Dito po kasi Erik Erikson nagbigay yung question ng reference. Erik Erikson, yung psychological stages, saan ba nagsisimula? Yung iba kasi yung development nagsisimula daw sa prenatal. Merong ganon, diba? Sa prenatal lang sisimula. Pero kasi psychological, it starts in infancy. Yung iba naman guys, nagsisimula at birth. No? Pero kay Erik Erikson is letter A. It starts with infancy. Di ba meron tayong trust versus mistrust? And it ends with adulthood. No? So, bigyan ko kayo ng verbatim. No? Para din yung sabihin ng budol man yan si Sir. Uy, hindi. The first stage, psychosocial yan ha, infancy. Okay? So, nagsisimula infancy. So, yung iba kasi nagsisimula at birth. Okay? Pag Erik Erikson, infancy. Okay? Tandaan nyo yan. Next, Ryan gets a lot of pleasure from working. Wow, sana all. Based on Erikson's psychosocial theory, this act of Ryan shows blank. So, pag ikaw, you find pleasure in working, anong concept yan? Okay? Yung iba kasi nagtatrabaho, parang hindi na gusto yung trabaho nila. 'Di ba? Pumapasok na lang sila sa trabaho. Yung mga bata parang nag-aaral na lang sila kasi kailangan, no? Pero may mga bata na they are doing their things because they love to do it. Okay? So yan ay loving what you are doing, ha? Loving what you're doing, that's what you call industry. It's letter A, industry. So kapag nung elementary ka, binigyan ka ng most industrious award. Ibig sabihin, nakitaan ka ng teacher mo na pag may ginagawa ka, hindi ka nagdadabog. Pag may ginagawa ka, masaya kang ginagawa ito. Diba? So having pleasure in doing things. Intimacy, it's being close with others. It's not necessarily na romantic relationship, ha? It's being close with your brothers, sisters, friends. No? Pwede naman ng mga jowa ninyo. Identity is knowing who you are. And trust naman, it means sense of familiarity, consistency. Di ba? Pag consistent yung tao sa atin, nade-develop yung trust, tapos continuous yung ginagawa, hanggang na-fall ka, nagkakaroon ng intimate relationship. Okay. 89. When people are now engaged more than ever in the saving of environment, amidst climate change and other pressing environmental issues, they already have a high aptitude for blank thinking. Bakit kaya ganito tayo, no? Lalo na kapag tumatanda na tayo. Para bang kumbaga nagbabalik loob tayo sa kalikasan. 'Di ba? Nung bata tayo, wala tayong pakialam eh. 'Di ba? Tapon dito, tapon doon, ganoon. Wala tayong pakialam, no? Wala pa sa atin yung mga effects ng mga bagyo, climate change, wala pa masyado. Pero ngayon na alam na natin na nasisira pala yung kalikasan dahil sa ginagawa natin. We're trying to save Mother Earth, no? Dahil doon sa, kumbaga, iniisip natin na baka kaya pang ibalik. Baka pwede pang ayusin yung nasira natin na kalikasan. That kind of thinking is that what we call reversible thinking. Okay? Reversible thinking. Nagsisimula na yan mga around elementary, di ba? No, hanggang tumatanda tayo. No, we have high aptitude of reversible thinking. Pero mga early childhood, naku, wala. Wala. Okay, yan. Pag reversibility, no? So, it is understanding of reversibility or awareness that actions can be reversed. May pag-asa ba baka pwede pa itong ma-reverse? No? Baka pwede pang ayusin. Ayan. Number 90. When the reproductive health law was passed in the Philippines, it was confronted with a lot of controversies and public debates as numerous pro-life groups believe that the law will open doors for abortion. Diba? Ito naman talaga yung mga concern, lalo na ng mga religious groups. The groups who went to protest, adhere to Kohlberg's stage of moral development. Guys, pag may mabasa kayo na about protest, kumbaga, bakit pa ginagawa ng mga taong ito na bakit na nagpaprotesta sila? Bakit na kaya hindi nila sila pumasok sa trabaho? Bakit kaya hindi nila sila mag-aral, 'di ba? Nang mabuti, pumasok sa paaralan. Bakit pa sila nagpo-protest diyan? Bakit pa sila nagkakaroon ng mga public demonstration? Because itong mga taong ito, hindi lang nila iniisip yung kapakanan nila. They are also thinking about others. They're also thinking about community, 'di ba? And yung level na yan ay post-conventional, and that is social contract. The purpose is not to gain social approval. Hindi ginawa nila yan para to gain social approval, guys, 'di ba? Hindi din ginawa nila yan para for universal, kasi hindi naman sinabi sa universal ethical principle na kailangan talaga magprotesta because that's the right thing to do, that's the moral thing to do. No? But social contract, sabi ng social contract, pag alam mong mali, may mali, pwede na, kaya pang baguhin, kayang pigilan, pwede. Kumbaga, everything is a social contract. Kapag naagrihan natin na pwede, then pwede. Diba? Kaya nga nagpo-protesta. No? Yan. In the hopes na baka kaya pang pigilan. Okay? That's post-conventional social contract. No? Pag social contract, again, laws that are wrong can be changed. One will act based on social justice and for the common good. Yan. Next, 91. According to Lev Vygotsky, when the learner is in his zone of actual development, he can perform the skill blank. So paano nagpa-perform yung isang bata kapag nasa zone of actual? Kasi tatlo yan. Zone of actual development and zone of potential development. The difference between zone of actual development and zone of potential development is what we call the ZPD, or the zone for proximal development, ZPD. So, pag zone of actual development, it is where the child can do a thing alone. That's the actual. Anong kayang gawin ng bata na siya lang? That's actual development, diba? So, zone of proximal development, kapag tayo ay nagbibigay na ng scaffolding or appropriate assistance, hanggang yung bata ma-reach na yung kanyang potential level. The level that the learner achieves with the assistance of the teacher or a more advanced peer. Next, yan po yung ZPD, no? The difference between the zone of actual development and the zone of potential development. Next, when a special child is moved out of special education classroom sa SPED, no? Ang special child or learner with special needs, pinul out siya sa SPED room, nilagay sa regular classroom. Ano ang tawag dyan? Sige, what do you call that process where you pull out an LSEN from a SPED classroom and you put him or her in a regular classroom? Kasi ay medyo kaya na naman ng bata, di ba? Bigyan natin siya ng opportunity na makipaghalubilo sa mga normal na bata, di ba? So yan ay tinatawag natin na letter C. Correct. Very good. Is letter C, mainstreaming. So, ibig sabihin, mini-mainstream natin siya. Nilalagay natin siya doon sa pinaka-main, na classroom, no? So, ito yung pinagkaiba, no? When we're talking about the learners, pag SPED kasi, the students who are not part of the classroom, no? Ibig sabihin, yung mga learners, nilagay talaga natin sa highly specialized program. Pag sinabing inclusion, all same age peers learners are in class regardless of the ability. Inclusion yon, inclusive. Ang mainstreaming, kapag yung selected learners are included in the general education based on their readiness instead of their age. So it's not about the age, but it's about the readiness, mainstreaming. But when we're talking about all same age, pareho lang kasi silang edad. Yung iba lang may mga iba't iba yung abilities and disabilities. Inclusive yun. Pag mainstreaming, no, it's not the age, but it's the readiness of the child. Okay? Next. 93. Which of the following are examples of these abilities? Examples of these abilities. Saan kaya dyan? Okay? So number 1, when letters appear jumbled, for example, yung read, parang it is read like raed, di ba? Dyslexic, di ba? Dyslexic. Is it a disability? Yes, di ba? Dyslexia, meron tayo yan. Losing all or part of your hearing. So merong magkakaroon siya ng hearing impairment. No? Is that a disability? Yes, that is what we call hearing impairments nga. Number 3, having difficulty to make friends. Naku, disability ba yan, guys? May mga tao talaga, guys, may mga tao kasi nga, ayaw talaga nilang makipag-friend. May mga tao din nahihirapan silang to make friends. No? That is not a disability, guys. No? Personal problem. Personality problem. So the correct answer is letter A, 1 and 2. Next, 94. Under people first language, no? So may mga words kasi tayo na hindi acceptable, no? So which of the following phrases is acceptable and respectable when we are addressing to a person with polio? Okay? So noon kasi sasabihin natin, ay, polio victim, 'di ba? There's a polio victim. So ngayon, 'di ba? Medyo masakit, negative yung dating kapag polio victim. Parang kawawa talaga. 'Di ba? Para bang nabiktima talaga, no? Awang-awa talaga dahil sa sakit na polio victim. So instead of para bang ang dating is victim siya, let's make that disability an ability. 'Di ba? Tanggalin natin yung this. So instead na ang dating is na biktima siya, ang dating dapat is pero mayroon siya. Mayroon siyang polio. So has polio. Person who has polio or person with polio, mas okay siya. Di ba? Ayan. So yan yung tinatawag natin na people first language. We are putting the person first, not the disability. Kaya nga, hindi na tinatawag na disabled person. No? Kasi in-emphasize natin yung disabled eh. Di ba? Dapat person with disability. Okay? First, PWD. So yung person ay may disability instead of parang naging biktima siya ng disability, di ba? Next, in Piaget's cognitive development, when a mother explains to the child that cats, unlike dogs, do not bark, diba? Kasi lahat na makikita ng bata, pwede sabihin dogs yan lahat, diba? The child is in the process of creating a new cognitive structure. Anong process yan? Creating a new. Kasi kapag nag-fit lang tayo, diba? Fitting of new experiences, fitting of new knowledge, that is what we call assimilation. Pero kapag may changes, may modifications sa existing structure, or mayroong bago sa cognitive structure, then that's what we call accommodation. Letter A, accommodation. Pag fitting of new experiences, assimilation. When we say equilibrium, it's a balance between accommodation and assimilation. Pag sinabing schema, it's the cognitive structure itself or the concepts na natutunan natin. Next, Erickson has emphasized the importance of developing the child's industry, or else the child will develop inferiority to oneself. Which of the following situation indicates industry in the learning environment? Ano nga yung industry? We are loving what we are doing, di ba? Having pleasure in doing things. So saan dyan ang indication na may industry sa isang learning environment? Saan kaya, sa anong environment ba tayo ginaganahan kapag nagtatrabaho? Sa anong learning environment na tayo na ginaganahan na mag-aral? Okay? 'Di ba sa environment where, letter D, students contribute to warm and friendly school atmosphere. So try ka nga mag-aral sa school na maraming bully. 'Di ba? Hindi ka gaganan mag-aral. Para mapipilitan ka na lang pumasok pero takot kang pumasok. 'Di ba? Yan. Next, 97. The following are the components of the definition of special education exam. Okay? Pag sinabing ting special education or SPED, ngayon, SNED na yan ngayon, guys, no? SNED, SNED, Special Needs Education. Okay? So, saan dito ang hindi kabilang sa components ng SPED or SNED? Ang sagot ay, okay, it's letter C, no? Well-discriminated, what? Well-discriminated disabilities daw, guys. Diba? So, parang obvious naman, diba? Individually planned instruction, yes. Pag SPED talaga, guys, meron talaga silang individualized planned instruction. They have also systematically implemented instruction, yan, personal self-sufficiency. These are terms related to SPED. Yan. Next, number 98, merong 3 parts of human personality, right? The id, ego, and super ego. So, saan dito yung first to emerge in the process of development? Hala, saan kaya yung nauna, no, sa process ng development? When we develop, saan ba yung nauuna? Is it the id, ego, or super ego? Sir, id, sir, kasi siya yung nauna sa sinabi mo. Id, na. Pwede, what if, di ba, sabihin ko, saan nauuna? Yung super ego, id, or ego? Saan ba yung una na nag-emerge in the process of development according to Sigmund Freud? The correct answer here is letter A, id. Okay, tama yun, guys. Id, ego, super ego talaga yung arrangement niyan. Sabi dito, Freud says that a child is born with the id. Ibig sabihin, pagkapanganak pa lang ng bata, no, ay meron na siyang id. So, hindi pa na-develop yung ego because ego is a reality principle. Kapag naman super ego, it's a moral principle. No? Kaya nga ang bata, kapag lumabas yan sa sinapupunan, umiiyak talaga yan. Kasi, no? And hindi yan sabi na, ay, hindi ako iiyak, baka makadisturbo ako sa ibang pasyente, no? Because normal yan sa mga baby, guys, that a child is born with the id. Next, number 99. In what situation will learners be more likely to internalize and follow classroom rules? Okay? Saan kaya dito? Actually, guys, this is one of the rules in classroom management, no? Na ang purpose para daw mas ma-internalize ng mga bata, no, na parang they feel belong, kasi iba kasi yung guilt feeling na kapag ikaw ay kasali ka sa gumawa ng rules pero ikaw mismo ay nag-violate sa rules na yun, the guilt is different. No? Iba yung guilt feeling na nararamdaman natin. So, yun. Ang sagot dito, guys, is letter D. When learners participate in the rule-making process. Diba? That's the principle dapat, that we need to involve the learners in every decision-making that involves the learners in the classroom. Example, the rule-making. Okay? Last item for our session today. In her desire to finish all the topics in the unit, teacher May conducts lecture while her students listen to her. Nako, ito ay isa sa mga common mistake ng mga teachers, no? Kasi nga, 'di ba? Hala, malapit ng exam, di ko pa tapos yung mga competencies, no? So instead na magpapa-activity ka dyan, instead na gawin mo yung dapat mong gawin, no, na learner-centered activities, di mo na ginawa kasi nga nag-lecture ka na lang. And lecture is a traditional teacher-centered approach, diba? Or method rather, no? So kapag nagle-lecture ka, passive yung learners mo. So ibig sabihin, you are violating the very principle that states that letter B, that learning is an active process. That's already a violation, diba? Kasi nagiging passive na yung mga learners. So dapat active, learning by doing. Okay? And ayan, so letter A, learning by discovering new ideas, that's avoiding out of context, sometimes painful, yes, no? learnings talaga guys is a painful process because we learn, we also unlearn. Diba? May mga bagay na hirap talaga i-let go guys. And we need to relearn. And learning is a collaborative process, meaning to say we need to work in groups. Hindi, from time to time, magpa-group activity ka naman, teacher. And that ends our review session for this session for Prof. EdSet C, guys. Thank you so much for your active participation in the comment section, guys. And we will continue this set on our next review session, guys. So thank you again. Maraming salamat and see you on our next live session. Goodbye for now, guys. Bye!